Welcome to Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help educate you about narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Hi, and welcome to another podcast of Narc Abuse No More with your host, Doctor and Evangelist K.O. Rich. Thanks for tuning in today. Today is Wednesday. Yes, it is Wednesday, August the 16th of 2023. I pray that you've had a blessed, stress-free, narcissistic-free, abuse-free week so far, and that the remainder of this week will continue to be so as well. But if not, we're going to be talking about a few things today. Again, my name is Dr. K.O. Rich with Dark Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Yes, they do. But before we go on with today's podcast, I'd like to invite you to visit us on our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org, and on our website you'll find valuable information regarding narcissism, relationships, and if you have missed any of these podcasts, all you have to do is go directly to our website and listen to us from there. Now, just to let you know, we are on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and that is on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, and Deezer. We're also on Amazon Audible, Rumble, Brighteon, and the Tube. That's why we're on YouTube. So you have a variety of different platforms that you can listen to us from. But if all else fails, all you have to do is go directly to our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. All right, what are we talking about today? We are talking about what is verbal. Talk today. What is verbal abuse? How to recognize abusive behavior and what to do about it. What to do about abusive behavior. What is verbal abuse? And as always, I'd love to give you a website where you can get this valuable information. www.thehealthline.com. www.healthline.com. All right, so many people are dealing with abuse, various types of abuse, and abuse comes in many forms. Abuse is not just those who get the black eye, broken bone, kick punch. Abuse comes in many ways, and one of them is verbal abuse. And verbal abuse comes through, it can come through your spouse, it can come through someone you're dating, it can come through when it comes to a parent-child relationship, it can come from your boss on the job, it can come from anyone. And so we're going to talk about what verbal abuse is. Now, there are times where you may get into a disagreement, and it's normal to have a disagreement. Sometimes you may lose your cool, you might yell, or whatever the case may be. Now, that's not the most effective way of communication, but that is something that's not on the norm, okay? When you're talking about verbal abusive relationships, it can wear you down, and then for some, it can seem normal because many people have dealt with abuse where it becomes a normal part of their life, and there is nothing normal about abuse. Let me just say that again. There is nothing normal about abuse. So normal disagreements, they don't result in name calling, okay? So when you're having a disagreement, you're not trying to hit below the belt. They don't happen every day. Now, let me just say this. When it comes to abuse doesn't always happen every day, but abuse is abuse, regardless of if it happens every day, bi-weekly, once a month, once a year. Arguments, regular arguments normally revolve around a particular issue. It is not an attempt to character assassinate, okay? That's abuse, when you're trying to character assassinate. When you're dealing with the argument, when it's you're in a healthy relationship, you try to listen and understand the other person's position, even when you're angry. Okay, so you can still have respect for that person and listen to that person, even if you disagree or even if you're angry with that individual. One of you may say something out of the way, but it's an unusual occurrence. Okay, it's not something that happens frequently. And then when you say it, you will apologize, and it will be a genuine apology where you not keep doing it. You will genuinely be sorry for what you have done. Even if you can't agree completely, when you're in a normal relationship, there is a compromise. Okay, it's not someone feeling threatened or feeling like they're going to be punished if they don't succumb to your every whim. Arguments on a they don't try to belittle other people. They don't try to. There are no winners when it comes to an argument that's a healthy argument. You're not trying to win. You might be trying to help that person understand where you're coming from, but you're not trying to win just at the expense of just winning. However, when you're dealing with an unhealthy argument or relationship, or when you're talking about verbal abuse, then these are some red flags that you might need to pay attention to, so that you would not be the recipient of verbal abuse. If they try to insult or humiliate you, that's a sign that you're dealing with an abusive person, a verbally abusive person. When they accuse you of being overly sensitive, or if it's a joke that is at your expense of trying to hurt you, then that's the verbal abuse. They often yell and scream at you. They don't know how to talk in a normal tone. Then that could be verbal abuse. Okay, when they're doing this all the time. When you having to argue with them, and you get blamed for, and they're the ones that started the argument. The arguments catch you off guard. Narcissists, they love to catch you off balance, so you have to be careful of this. The initial disagreement, it causes a string of accusations, dreading up of unrelated issues in order to defend themselves. So basically, when you're dealing with someone that's a verbal abuser, they will bring up things that has nothing to do with the matter at hand, but in order to defend themselves, they have to drudge up something, or they will try to accuse you of things that has nothing to do with whatever the issue is. They try to blame you and make you feel guilty for you being the victim of their abuse. Okay, so that's a sign of verbal abuse. They say their hurtful behaviors for when you're alone. They don't do it in public. They try to do it behind closed doors, because we know that narcissists don't want others to know who they really are. So they act completely different in front of other people than they do at home. They get into your personal space, or they try to keep you from moving away from them. When you're trying to leave the room, for example, and you're trying to get away from their abuse, they will charge at you or try to prevent you from leaving the space. Another thing is they will hit the wall, they will pound their fists or throw things. Okay, so this is when they're on the edge of leaving from the verbal aspect of the abuse to the physical aspect of abuse, through intimidation. They want credit for not having hit you. So they will say, well, at least I didn't hit you. Well, that doesn't mean that what you did was better just because you didn't lay hands. The reason they may not have laid hands because they know that it will land them in jail, whereas the verbal aspect of it won't, but the laying of hands will. So we're gonna go through some of this when it comes to verbal abuse, so that you will understand what you're dealing with, and if you are dealing with verbal abuse, or you may be the verbal abuser, you may be the aggressor, in order to know that, hey, you need to check yourself in the event that this is you. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I said, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
And that is Happy by Pharrell Williams. And you don't want anyone to take your happy. All right, number one, name calling. This is verbal abuse. You do not have to be called out of your name. Even if someone disagrees with you, they do not have to call you out of your name. So if you're in a romantic relationship, a parent-child relationship, or a bully, I have seen many parents call their kids stupid. You so stupid, or you just like your no good daddy, or whatever the case may be. That is not healthy. And no one should be called out of their name, even if someone is saying, "Oh, I'm just teasing," or whatever the case may be. Do not. That is not. That's verbal abuse to call people out of their names, or to use pet names that you know are insensitive to that person. So, for example, there used to be a cartoon back in the day called Fat Albert. All right. Now, we would say that if someone is overweight, you don't want to call them fat. Okay, Fat Albert would have been insensitive in today's time, but this is something that you have to be very careful of, especially if you're in a dating relationship and you are dating someone. They're calling you all kind of B's or whatever the case may be. That is not your name. So make it clear that you will not answer to any name other than the name that you were born with. Number two, condescension. When someone is condescending, they're trying to belittle you. They're trying to be sarcastic. They feel as if they're better than you. They have a disdain for you. So this is another type of verbal abuse. When someone is condescending to you, they are actually abusing you. They want to make you feel as if you're worthless, as if you're nothing. And at the end of abuse is always someone that's trying to manipulate, control, dominate, and cause you to feel less than who you are. Number three, criticism. This is not about constructive criticism. When you're dealing with narcissists, you're dealing with destructive criticism. Constructive criticism tries to build you up. For example, when I turn in an assignment and my teacher put comments on there, then the teacher is giving me constructive criticism on that assignment, so that the next time that I do that assignment or for example do another assignment, then I would do better. However, destructive tears the person down. There's no sense in it for us building a person up. So verbally abusive relationships are harsh. It chips away at your self-esteem. When you're dealing with this type of criticism, you feel as if you can never do anything right, because after all, that person always makes you feel like you're less than, you're not good enough. Criticism is also when parents compare children, siblings to one another. Why can't you be like your sister? Why can't you be like your brother? Why can't you be like your cousin? Why can't you be like your friend, or whatever the case may be? That is not constructive criticism. That is destructive criticism, because what the child is actually hearing is, I'm inadequate. They're not hearing that, you're trying to help me to be better. They're hearing that I'm inadequate and therefore I am not good enough. Number four, degradation. Degradation is when your abusers want you to feel bad about yourself. So therefore they want to humiliate you, they want to degrade you, they want to shame you, they want to eat away at your confidence. You might find that you have been in a relationship where you have experienced degradation, and You have found yourself not being able to make decisions, not being competent, or should I say confident, not competent, not that you're not competent, but you're not confident in your decision making apart from that abuser. That abuser has made you feel like that unless and they give you the stamp of approval, that your decisions are always bad decisions. And this is a type of verbal abuse. Number 5, manipulation. When you are being manipulated, the manipulation is an attempt to make you do something even when it's not a direct order to do it. So it's still a way of trying to control, trying to dominate, trying to manipulate you into doing something that you would not want to do. They want you to prove yourself. They want you to do things that always questions your loyalty to them. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you are never going to please them, appease them, or be able to do anything that will take you off their radar when it comes to their abuse. No matter what you do, you could flip over backwards and you will still encounter the abuse. When you're dealing with an abusive person, an abuser, there's nothing you can do to prevent the abuse except for getting out of that situation, because that person will always find a reason to abuse you. You will always be blamed, which leads us into our next one, number 6, blame. You're always at fault for something. Something is always your fault. So when you're dealing with a verbally abusive person, they blame you for their behavior. They blame you for their abuse. They blame you for everything that's going wrong, even in their own life with the choices that they made. They blame you for everything. They will never take accountability for their actions. So when you're dealing with verbal abuse, part of that verbal abuse is the blame game, where they are blaming you. You're the reason they're not happy. You're the reason that they didn't succeed. You're the reason that they're not making it in life. You're the reason for this or that or whatever the case may be. Just your existence causes them to blame you for things. All right, we're going to take another quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
I dedicate this song to recession, depression, and unemployment. This song's for you.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
I'll be honest with you.
I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now.
When I think how much better I'm gonna be when this is over,
I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile, even though I've been here for a while.
what you do?
I smile,
Come on and
smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now.
God's people.
You look so much better when you smile. So smile.
Now every day ain't gonna be perfect, but it still don't mean today don't have purpose. Come on.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night.
It ain't easy, but
Today's a new day, but tell me, where are my blue skies?
where is that love, y'all?
Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
The truth is,
I almost gave up, but a power that I can't
that
explain
Holy Ghost power, y'all.
fell from heaven like a shower now.
Now I know we've been hurt, y'all, but still,
I smile,
come on.
even though I hurt, see I smile.
Can y'all feel that?
I know God is working, so I smile, even though I've been here for a while.
Still,
I smile,
hallelujah.
smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure You look so much better when you smile.
Let's go.
Smile for me.
Whoa.
Can you just smile for me?
Whatever you're in right now,
Smile for me.
smile.
Can you just smile for me?
And my people say,
You look so much better when you. You look so much better when you. You look so much better when you.
I say,
You look so much better when you.
and while you're waiting,
You look so much better when you.
yeah, and while you're praying,
You look so much better when you.
look in the mirror.
You look so much better when you.
Always remember,
You look so much better when you smile.
Come on.
I almost gave up.
almost gave
Power
up.
that I can't
But that
explain.
Holy Ghost power, y'all,
Fell from heaven like
came
a
down from
shower
heaven.
down
Hardships, difficulties,
right now.
tears, storms. This is what I do.
I smile,
Woo!
even though I hurt. See, I smile.
But that feels good.
I know God is working, so I smile.
All things are working.
Even though I'm in it for a while,
Still,
I smile, smile.
hallelujah.
It's so hard to look up when you've been down.
I know it's hard right now,
Sure would hate to see you give up now.
because you're a winner.
You look so much better when you smile.
You look better.
So smile.
Tell
You
us,
look so much better when you.
New
You
Orleans,
look so much better when you.
come on,
You
Cleveland,
look so much better when you. You
Detroit,
look so much better when you.
feel
You look
it,
so much better when you.
Jersey,
You look so much better when you.
LA.
You look so much better when you.
All my people say,
You look so much better when you smile.
see, I just don't want you to be happy, 'cause then you gotta have something happen then. I want you to have joy, 'cause can't nobody take that from you. I see you. Smile.
I Smile, and that is by Kirk Franklin. That's right. Don't let nobody take your smile away from you, because you know what? You got a bunch of haters, okay? This world is full of haters, and some of them in the church. Come on now. Ah! Haters! Haters, haters, haters. You know, don't let nobody take your smile. Number seven, accusations. If someone is repeatedly accusing you of things, they may be jealous or envious of you, okay? We know that narcissists thrive on jealousy. They want others to feel as if they're jealous of them, when in actuality it's the other way around. They are jealous of that person. So they're the one that's guilty of that behavior, but they will accuse you of being of that way. And one thing, when you're dealing with narcissists, if you don't for some of them, if you don't respond the way they want you to, or give them the reaction that they want, then they will accuse you of being jealous, or they will accuse you of hating, or whatever the case may be. You could just be sitting back listening to what they're saying and internalizing whatever it is. And then the thing is that they will try to accuse you of not being happy for them, of not wanting things, and it's actually the other way around. Number 8, their withholding or isolation. They may refuse to talk to you, or look you in the eye, or even to be in the same room with you, which is for you to try to get their attention. They crave attention. Narcissists want to be the center of attention. It has to be all about them or nothing at all. And when you're dealing with the narcissist, they will even try to keep you from being around other people, or they will refuse to answer your calls, your texts. They will refuse to communicate with you, and that's their way of trying to manipulate and control you and dominate you. Number 9, gaslighting. Gaslighting is, when you talk about gaslighting, for those who may not know what that term is, gaslighting is when someone tries to make you doubt your reality. That's right. They try to make you doubt a sequence of events, or they try to make you doubt whatever you know about them to be true. For example, you all may have had an argument about bananas, for example. But then the narcissist would say, oh, no, it wasn't about bananas. It was about blueberries. And then they would try to change all the events that transpired around it to make themselves look good, when in actuality it was what you called it. But they will try to make you doubt your reality. Gaslight comes from the movie Gaslight from the 1940s. There was a movie, you may be able to find it on YouTube. Gaslight. It's called Gaslight, where this husband had married this rich woman who had just inherited and had just received an inheritance from her aunt, whom he had killed, that she didn't know about. She didn't know that her aunt had been killed by the man whom she had married. Or she was about, actually he married her in order to get her aunt's inheritance. And so therefore in the movie he does all these things, moving pictures, moving her keys, making her feel like she's going crazy, because what he wanted to do is get her committed to a hospital where he can have control of all the wealth. The reason it's called Gaslight is during that time they used oil lamps, and so he would be doing things trying to look for hidden treasure that was in her aunt's house, and the gas lights would be flickering. So that's why it's called Gaslight. In other words, bringing it to today, when someone is trying to gaslight you, they want to rewrite history. They want to rewrite the events that took place and make you doubt what actually took place. They want you to doubt your reality. So you can recall an event or an argument or something that took place, and the abuser would deny it, that it ever happened, and they will make you feel as if it was all in your head, when you know for a fact that what you know to be true is true. Number 10, circular arguments. It isn't unusual for somebody for a couple to maybe disagree about the same thing, about something again. So it can happen more than once, where you might disagree, for example, about bills. So you may have that argument again, maybe in the future. However, when you're dealing with an abuser, they will reignite old arguments just to push your buttons. It's not that they really have anything new, but they just want to do it as a form of manipulation. This is called verbal abuse. They will try to find an argument to reignite. You might think that you all have been there, done that, the story's over, the issue's closed, and they will bring it back over and over and over and over again. It's a sickness. It's really sadistic. It's a sickness. It's a madness. When someone, this is even with accusations, they will accuse you of the same thing over and over and over again, and you're constantly trying to prove to them and yourself and saying that this is not true, and you've had this argument before, and then you think it's been laid to rest. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, the narcissist will never allow anything to be put to rest. So therefore they will keep going round and round and round and round over the same thing over and over again, and it drives you insane. At least it can. And that's why you have to really be in control of this. Number 11, threats. The narcissist will outright threaten you. And this is why I often read you your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Come on now. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of the narcissist. There is no defense when it comes to the narcissist. You will keep being accused of the same thing over and over again, and when they can't get their way, they will threaten you. And if they think that they have you over a bowl, guess what? They will drown you in your own vomit. All right, so you have to be careful of what you even tell the narcissist. Any little thing, any innocent thing, the narcissist will use it against you. The narcissist is not your friend or no one else's friend. They're not even a friend to themselves. They love to abuse and manipulate, and then they will act as if they are the victims of your abuse, when it's actually the other way around. So what can you do? One thing that you can't do is reason with an abuser. They do not hear you. They do not want to hear you. But you're not responsible for their behavior. The only thing you can be responsible for is ensuring that you stop the abuse. Do not try to reason with an abuser. It doesn't work. But you can make what we're going to go to next is set boundaries. Start refusing to engage them in unreasonable arguments. Let them know that you're not going to respond to their verbal abuse. So you don't have to defend yourself. When you're dealing with a narcissist, it does no good to defend yourself, because what they have in their head is going to stay in their head. And a lot of times it is a bunch of foolishness, a bunch of nonsense. You don't have to defend yourself against the crazed. Okay, you do not have to defend yourself against these abusers, because it does no good. The only thing it does is frustrate you and give them their narcissistic supply. They feed off of it. So the only way to starve a narcissist is don't give them the supply that they want. One thing that you can do is limit your exposure to them. If you know someone that is a narcissistic abuser, you don't have to travel in the same circles they do. You don't have to allow yourself to be in their path. If you have a family member that's a narcissist, because many people do have family members that are narcissists, guess what? Limit your conversation with them. Limit your contact with them. Keep things short. Always make sure you're busy, where you don't have to feel as if you're obligated to engage this individual. Just because someone is family does not mean that they have the right to abuse you. Let me repeat that. Just because someone is family does not mean that they have the right to abuse you. No, they do not. But you do have the right to have your peace of mind. That means that even if you have to go low contact or no contact, if someone is interested in being in your life, then they're going to make changes. But if they're not, if they only want to abuse you, continue the abuse, then guess what? Sometimes you're going to have to cut those ties, or at least distance yourself, and you decide how often and how long that you're going to deal with them or engage them. The thing when you're dealing with abuse is you have to be in control. You have to be in control. You cannot expect an abuser to how would I put this? You cannot expect an abuser to think about your feelings. They could care less about your feelings. Why? Because when you're truly dealing with an abuser, guess what? It's all about them. It's never about you. It's all about them. They could care less when it comes to you. That's why you have to care about you. Don't be the people pleaser, because when you're dealing with abusers, you can't please them. They will always find something wrong with you, and then you will feel like, well, what am I doing, and why is it? It's not you, it's the abuser. So ensure that you know that you can't control someone else's behavior. You can only control your response to their abuse. So I want to ask you a question. How many people in your life would you say are abusers? Is it your spouse? Is it your significant other? Is it your children? Is it your job? And if you know that you have those in your life that are doing this type of abuse, then you have to ask yourself, what can I do to change my situation? What can I do to change my situation? For those who are going through abuse, I want to give you information to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and that is www.thehotline.org, www.thehotline.org. You can also call 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. TTY callers, 1-800-787-3224. You can also text the word START to 88788. Again, text the word START, that's START, to 88788. You are not alone. If you're going through abuse, if you know someone who's going through abuse, please get them help. Try to encourage them to get the help that they need in order to get out of the situation. They do not have to feel as if they are by themselves. You are not alone. All right. Well, you know what? I pray that you all will have a blessed and wonderful rest of the week. And I want you to smile. I want you to look at yourself and say, you know what? I am fearfully and I am wonderfully made. And I know that full well. You have to know that you were made in the image of God. And that no one has the right to destroy that image. Whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, you do not have to be the punching bag of anyone, physically, verbally, or spiritually. You were made in the image of God, and you have to know that you are fearfully. Psalms 139:14. I am fearfully, I'm wonderfully made. I know that full well. You have to know that full well. And if you don't know that, and you don't tell yourself that, you can definitely not expect it to come from the narcissist. The narcissist does not care about you. They only care about themselves. All right, we are up out of here. I pray that today's podcast has been a blessing to you and that you know your feelings, they do matter. This is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, helping you to admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse. Until next time.